sinners, and saints. Dust off those horns and halos. It's time for Alley After Dark.
Sinners, saints, bitches, whores, sluts, pole smokers, butt mungers. How are my ass muffins all doing tonight? I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're sexy and feeling just so frivolous that you just can't stand it. I have to start off this week with a little bit of sarcasm. It's not been a great week. It's been a tough week, I have to confess. A lot of things went wrong. Most of them you all will find very hilarious, I'm pretty sure. Let's just kick off tonight with a special thank you to all of you who allow me to walk around for at least 2 to 3 hours with a booger hanging out of my nose. Ugh. I really do appreciate that, and I'm sure everybody else did too that laughed at my expense. So, thank you so much, you bitches. And for reference, payback is a bitch, and I promise you, I'm not going to let you know the next time I see a booger hanging out of your nose. Turnabout's fair play, isn't it? I think you should agree with that. You know, I can't just do anything normal like other people do. Like if you fall down. Most of you just fall down. I tend to be one of those who starts to stumble, like you're tripping and falling forward for, 3 miles, it seems like. Realizing that eventually you're going to have to go ahead and fall down and it's going to hurt. And especially as you get older, falls can be deadly. It doesn't help when you're in a busy parking lot and 3,000 people can see you doing some kind of Mambo number 5 across the parking lot. And then you wind up hitting the ground, bruising the palms of your hands, scraping your knees, and it's just so much fun. You know, was that sarcastic enough? I hope so. But Jesus Christ, I'm afraid to ask what more can happen, because when I do that, something else will happen. You know, something like you're washing your hands in a men's room and the air freshener dispenser maces you right in the face. Yeah, tell me about it. Leave it to me to be in a men's public restroom and get shellacked by a stinky air freshener dispenser. Honestly, who else could that happen to but me? And just think, on top of that, I have to deal with a bad case of vertigo where I'm actually laying here as I'm trying to record this. That's just unfair. You better not laugh at that one, because I'd be mad if you did. And I'll tell you this, it's not so easy recording while you're lying down in bed. But who knows? I might be able to pull this off. You all know I do a lot of good things in bed. Maybe recording my podcast is one of them. You know, when things are going wrong, like the things I just described, I think we all become more sensitive, more in tune with other things going on around us. Things will annoy you a lot faster than you would ever expect. One of the things that's really annoying me these days is this. I don't know what it is, people, but like, for example, I was at the grocery store and there was this whole section of the parking lot with nobody parked there. No one. I watch a vehicle come in and they come down the lane like you're supposed to, but they literally decide to back in to the parking space when they could have just driven through and been facing out automatically. Why go through all the trouble of backing in when you can drive through? Am I the only one who sees that seems kind of crazy to do it that way? When there was no one around. Not a single vehicle was parked anywhere around there. And yet you stop and put your car in reverse and back in when you could have just driven through and been facing out already. Is it just me? I don't know. Can I just say this, everybody? When you're taking your selfies and you have a filter on, be sure before you post it to edit it, to reverse it, so that if you're wearing a t-shirt that has wording on it, that it's not backwards. It's so obvious that you've got a filter on that I guess everybody just assumes that nobody pays attention to the other details. Well, I do, and I'm guilty of the same thing. That's why I try to be more conscious of the process. If I'm going to use a filter, I'm going to reverse the picture to make sure that if I'm wearing a t-shirt with wording on it, people can read the wording. But I have to say, my reverse image looks much better than my regular image. I don't know what's going on with one side of my face. Maybe y'all can tell me. I'm sure somebody will. Everybody's got suggestions for everything I do and how I handle everything. So what's one more suggestion from somebody I don't even know? Oh, that should have been funny, but I think back to this time, Rosie O'Donnell was doing an interview with, I don't know, it might have been VH1 or MTV, and they were talking to her about Madonna. And she said that she and Madonna were on an elevator in New York, and this delivery guy gets on the elevator with them, and he looks at Madonna and says, "Are you Madonna?" And she says, "Yeah." And he says, "Your hair looks like shit like that. You should keep it blonde." And you're thinking, this is the Queen of Pop he's talking to. A woman that's sold more records than any other female artist in history. And she is getting insulted by someone in an elevator. I'm sure she was like, "I'm rich and famous, so what are you?" But it's interesting how I think we look at some people as no longer being a person. I mean, it's quite clear that there's a difference between Madonna the person and Madonna the entertainer. And maybe that's what we're all doing. Maybe we're trying to impress people in a way that we don't get in real life. That maybe that's why we do use filters and present ourselves in social media differently. Are we that disconnected with the real us versus the image that we're trying to portray? It's an interesting concept, isn't it? I mean, all of us want to look good. I don't think we ever try to post an ugly picture of ourselves, especially when you are achieving goals. Say you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to work out and build your muscles and look more toned. Of course, you're going to want to brag about it and show off. I think that's great. But where is that line where it becomes too much? That we begin existing in the social media world and not the real world. I totally get it. I feel like it's better in the social media world sometimes. I mean, in the social media world, I don't have vertigo. I didn't fall down and bust my knees and my hands. I didn't get maced by air freshener dispenser. I didn't have a booger hanging out of my nose for 3 or 4 hours. Maybe that's what I'm getting at there, but fuck that too, though. I got to get a grip, don't I? Before more things happen, which they will, I know. I mean, honestly, this week I have felt like I've been on a Three Stooges skit. It just seems like no matter what I try to do or not do, something weird or bad happens. I don't know. What can I do about that? I don't know if I should just sit down in the middle of a room on the floor and cry. If I do that, I got to figure out how to get back up, and that can be a challenge at my age. Shut up, all of you bitches, making a dig at my age. Look in the mirror, grannies and grandpas. Jesus. And there I go again, acting like getting old is a bad thing. Getting old is not the bad thing. It's what it does to your health and your bones and your knees and your feet. You've got arthritis, you get a bad neck, a bad back. There's so much that goes wrong with getting older. Thankfully, I don't have carpal tunnel. That would affect the dick stroking, wouldn't it? I just flashed, people who are cigarette smokers their whole life, and they get those lines around their mouth that kind of coalesces around the circular shape of a cigarette. I wonder, do older men show those same lines for all the dick they've sucked?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, what?
Picture it 20 years from now, some old queen trying to throw shade, looking at me and saying, "Oh, honey, did you smoke a lot of cigarettes in your life? Those lines around your mouth look serious." I'd have to be like, "No, bitch, I sucked a lot of dick." Of course, now that I think about it, the only way anyone could see the lines around my mouth would be that if I shaved my beard and mustache. And that's not going to happen anytime soon or anytime late. I plan on keeping my beard until I die. I just don't know what color it will be at that point. But that's to worry about on a different day. I guess you could say I'm sort of going through another midlife crisis. I'm debating on getting my ears pierced again. Did I mention that before? I might have. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I just don't know yet. And I know people are saying, at your age, and man, I am getting tired of people saying things like that. If I was 92 and wanted to get my ears pierced, what the fuck business is it of yours? Jesus. They're my ears, aren't they? But mad respect for you guys who've got your dicks pierced. Those Prince Alberts, I could never do that. And that's me being a pussy, I guess. Not that I've ever wanted one of those. What was that movie? Wasn't there a movie where a girl is blowing a guy who has a Prince Albert and the Prince Albert gets caught on her tonsils or something? That'd be pretty bad, wouldn't it? You'd think his dick would have went soft and it would have gone down and the Prince Albert would have come loose. But who knows? It's a comedy, right? I shouldn't be putting that much thought into it. Gaydar. The ability to track another gay person with virtually no information about them. Do you believe in it? I've mentioned it several times on the podcast, but I have to say, it truly can be hit or miss. There have been a couple of times where I was absolutely sure a guy was gay, and he absolutely wasn't. And there's people who have asked me, did my gaydar go off with them? And they seem shocked when I say no, but they're straight. They wondered if them being a straight guy, that my gaydar went off on them as if they were giving off some kind of signal that was unintentional. It was almost like a couple of them were hoping that they would trigger gaydar. I do have a belief in gaydar, but I also think it's not 100% foolproof. Like I just said, I missed at least two people that I could have sworn were gay and are not. And there's one guy that people have told me he's gay, and I don't get that vibe at all. I think gaydar isn't as necessary now as it used to be when I was younger, when so many of us were in the closet and having to hide and be careful because revealing yourself could get you beaten up or even killed. I guess when I talk about gaydar, most of the time it seems so obvious that a person's gay. And the way I said that, I didn't mean it as an insult. I'm just saying that there are mannerisms and things that some people give off that can tell you that they're gay. Heterosexual people tend to be not inclined to see anybody who's gay. They may just assume that everybody's heterosexual. And that's fine. That would be just a matter of a person not inclined to believe that anybody's gay. Whereas we could pick up on natural vibes, natural mannerisms and behaviors. And there's always going to be people that sort of fly under the gaydar, so to speak. But is it because we read people a certain way that we just believe that if you behave this way or that way, it defines your sexuality? It's really a flawed process, isn't it? And I guess the reason why I'm bringing it up is I heard a comedian talking about it. As a comedian, he was saying, how he was with a gay friend and they were at this restaurant and the gay friend points at this guy and says, he's gay. And he says, really? But he's wearing a Bass Pro Shop hat on his head. I thought, that's funny, but that's your assumption. And I always forget that people don't understand that there are all kinds of versions of drag in the real world. And maybe a gay guy wants to come off as a redneck, honky-tonk kind of cowboy who likes to go fishing and shop at a Bass Pro Shop.
Yee-haw!
It could be a way to manipulate or deflect people's impression of him in order to keep him safe. I guess I'm wondering why we always brag on our gaydar as if we're so in tune. Why do we have to be in tune? Why do we have to even care? I mean, I know there's several guys who come in to happy hour certain nights that are hetero. And I know that we have wishful thinking, and I am guilty of it as much as anybody else is, hoping that maybe They'll say that they're just enlightened, that they don't judge anybody based on their sexual orientation and enjoy hanging out at a gay bar because it's more fun and the drinks tend to be stronger and cheaper. But sometimes they offer a look that whispers to you, you know, that little voice that says, that look they just gave you, that seemed a little bit more than just a friendly acknowledgement. And you wonder sometimes, well, I do, is that the first step in them testing the waters? Are they checking to see if you will tell anybody if something were to happen in secret? And I've told all of you guys that listen to the show, that's the key to success. If you want to hook up with certain guys that you're hot for that may be straight, the number one thing that that person has to understand is that you will not ever tell that secret. You will never let anybody know what you did together. And when they see that you don't do that, they'll come back for more and they will share with their other friends who are on the down low that you can be trusted. And then you can get those lines around your mouth at old age and just say that it was from smoking cigarettes. Because you're going to be doing so much dick when that happens that you won't be able to keep up. And you'll wind up having a voice like Harvey Firestein's. That wasn't a positive, was it? Obviously, what I just said isn't 100% guaranteed. It's not. I don't want you all to believe that I just gave you advice on how to hook up with straight men. What I'm saying is that if a straight man approaches you and starts those first steps, you know what you need to do if you really want to hook up with them. Now, if you don't want to hook up with them, you just treat them like shit like you do everybody else. Sometimes it can be quite scary, and you need to also protect yourself by making sure that this is not some sort of trick to lure you into a trap that gets you hurt, or even worse, dead. There are people that are known to do that. They will try to bait and switch gay men in order to harm them, rob them, kill them. So, just an FYI, that's your public service announcement for this week. Always, always be safe and listen to that inner voice telling you if something is wrong. I don't want anybody getting killed based on something I've said. Get it? Got it? Good. I'm just really saying that it has been the practice that has worked for me to my benefit. I make no promises. I make no guarantees. So put that in your penis and smoke it. Or something like that, Jesus. You know, I also know several guys who equate their self-worth based on the number of guys they've been able to hook up with. And that's not exactly the most positive avenue to take, is it? You judge your own self-worth based on the number of dicks you sucked or how many times you've been fucked? Is that really what you think about yourself? That's what makes you feel fulfilled? Is that the right way to put that? I think so. I believe in gratification, and I believe that you should be able to hook up with as many people as you want to. I hope that most people don't make that the centerpiece of their self-worth, their value. I think that a lot of people can't let go of that concept that everything has to be related to your physical attractiveness to other people. Perhaps that's why we're so jealous of these amazing, beautiful actors who do seem to have a brain as well. It's not fair that they're beautiful and smart, but I sometimes tell myself maybe they're just quoting a script when they're answering questions. Maybe it's a memorized line, and it may be just that, and they're not really as intelligent as you think they are. That makes me feel a little bit happier, but I don't equate myself any longer with the concept that the only way I have value is based on the number of guys I've hooked up with. But I get it. If that's your gratification, makes you feel happy, there's nothing wrong with that. I just hope that you understand there are other ways to calculate your value, even if you have to do that. If you've got people who love you, that should count for more than anything, shouldn't it? And boy, is that cheesy coming from me, right? I will always value friendship more than relationships at this point in my life. Now, that would have been flipped 20 years ago, But I just know that I've had friends stick with me this whole time, and boyfriends have come and gone all the time. So I don't see that as a great measure of your value. But then again, you get a reputation of being a great pole smoker. The sky is the limit. Damn, I ended this episode sounding just like a slut, didn't I? That goes without saying. I want to thank you for hanging out with me for a little while and having a good time, talking about some of the craziest bullshit we could have talked about. But I hope you've had fun. Even with vertigo, I've had a pretty good time, and hopefully I'll be better next week. Before we go, I just want you to remember, take life by the balls and be real. We'll see you soon.